currently a third-year social policy and criminology student, and I'm running for president. The main reason I want to run is because I firmly believe that the student union is one of the key cornerstones of the university, with the students being its lifeblood. It helps govern and give the students an opinion, and helps decide how everything is best run. But one of the key things that I want to help change is to try and make it more efficient. To do this, I've set my policies around helping to make the timetables better, as currently, which is a problem that's plagued up many of the students that I know for the last 3 years, is how the lessons have been scattered out rather than put in tight blocks. So, for example, you've got a first 1 hour lesson in the morning and one in the afternoon, which is highly inefficient for people who have to travel. Moreover, I want to give clubs and societies better funding. There's, as you know, a lot of the money is monopolised around sports clubs, but I want to make it so that other clubs get a better share of the funding, so they can all survive more comfortably. And thirdly, I'd like to disabled students have better access to school facilities. This entails being able to get to classes and lectures more easily, as currently disabled access points are either very difficult to get to or not properly maintained, making it more difficult to reach lectures. Thanks.
Thank you, Jonathan. Can we have a round of applause for Kira?
I'm Kira. I'm a third-year student. I study education and early years, and I'm running as part of a slate called Yes You Can for the position of president. Anyone that knows me knows that when I came to uni, I was nervous and self-conscious. I found it difficult to engage with new people, but the Students' Union made a huge difference to this, and getting involved in my first years made me a whole new person, and I'm now an active member of the Hope community. This deep belief in the power of the Students' Union allowed me to run successfully to become chair of the Hope in the University Forum, sit on the Union Board of Trustees and the Executive Council. All these have given me the chance to speak to hundreds of people at events and represent Hope students both within university and in the wider community already. And my aim in this role is to take this forward and continue representing every single student at Liverpool Hope. If the Students' Union can give me these opportunities, I know it can make a difference to the life of every student here, and that's why I'm running to be your president, to create a Students' Union that's not only there when things go wrong, but one that transforms every student's life. By engaging more students in extracurricular activities, making Hope a thriving community with sports and societies right at the heart. By promoting a diverse union, making sure people know who we are and what we do. And by creating more employment opportunities to give Hope students an extra edge when they leave here and go out into the world of work. I believe that every one of these commitments is achievable with hard work and dedication. And we all know that things could be better in the university, in Liverpool and in the country in general, but without a strong Students' Union fighting for the issues that matter most to all of you, this change will never happen. A strong union needs a president who can champion the student voice and remain always committed to making positive change at Hope, and I believe I am that person.
Thank you, Kira. Round of applause for Johnny, please.
Hiya. Well, I'm Johnny, and I did have a speech prepared, but then I sort of thought, who wants a president that's going to read off a page? You want a president that's going to be able to rhyme off what they want to say, to know what they want to say. What we believe in is an inclusive students' union, because when I came to Liverpool Hope in first year, I didn't feel wanted in the students' union, because it was all about minorities and cliques and people getting together just on who's popular and stuff like that. And that's why my main point of the campaign is for an inclusive students' union. We've already secured for sports and societies sponsorship, a big sponsorship, which at the current state of how many societies and sports clubs we have, can fund for kit bags, tracksuits and new kits, which will actually take away the problem of the funding that we were hearing about earlier. I also studied last year in Malta and know the difficulties that people have as international students. So we'll also be campaigning with a few contacts that I made from the European Union. We'll be starting a new society called ESN. We'll also be getting funding from the European Union to run exchange programs for like weekends. So you'd go to another university, maybe in Italy or wherever else, and you'd work with other students from other countries, and at the end you'd get a certificate. So that's basically it. An exclusive students' union for everyone, and a vote for Johnny's, a vote for a fun SU.
Thank you, Johnny. I'll welcome Josh. No? Not here? Nikita? Marty, over to you.
So, hey guys, my name's Martin McChrystal. I'm a third year student currently studying law and criminology. I'm running because I honestly believe every student should feel part of the community. With your votes, and if elected, my aims are to ensure that everyone is valued, included and happy whilst at Hope. I will aim to lobby MPs for students' issues such as protecting scholarships. This will allow all students to have their voice heard. From this student representation, this will be at the forefront of our campaign to better help create a Liverpool student community. I will aim to be open, honest and visible to all students to better create an understanding and explanation for students' needs and accessibilities. All needs and accessibilities aren't represented across all three campuses at the moment. One of the things that we see is the peer mentor scheme isn't just at Hope. It only is based at Hope. We want to bring that across all three campuses. I will aim to help create a stronger relationship with all sports teams and societies, not only to give you the chance to get involved in all that Hope has to offer, but also to create a family to help support you through your time at Hope. This can be created with a community of communities in line with Hope's eternal ethos. We have a lot of ideas to bring to you, but we only have 3 minutes to give in this small presentation, so I'm just going to give you some of the highlights of what we have. We want to increase funding for sports teams, but to create a start-up bonus, so a pound for pound system. If you raise £100, our new SU will match that £100. This will help create better opportunities for us to look and work together in the future. We want to focus on rejuvenating people's appetites for politics, changing forum styles so that there are more debates involved about burning issues, so you can nurture political discussions and get students more interested in the bigger issues in society. We want to increase the amount of student liberation groups who take part in officer positions, especially trying to increase women in leadership, as our university has a majority demographic of women, over 70%. We want to create a community where no one feels disempowered because of their race, religion, sexuality, circumstances or background. We want the university to make the decision based on what it wants for its needs of students. SOS wants our university to be held accountable for every action it takes on behalf of a student. I hope where no student is taken for granted. We want to be a well-rounded, integrated team that collaborates with you at the centre. So vote me for President and the rest of my team, SOS, for a united team and a united union. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. I know how difficult it is. Obviously, I went through this last year, so just don't worry. I want to invite all the presidential candidates to come. Oh, sorry, to come and sit at the front, where we'll ask you some questions. If we can sit. So these are, where's my microphone? Oh. These are questions that were submitted in the break at the AGM. What I'll do is, I'll ask a question, and then I'll go down the line, and for the next question I'll come back. Hello. Okay, so what are your views on LGBT and BME representation, and what's your political stance?
So I've lost confidence after before, and still.
I think the union already does quite a bit for the LGBT and the BME campaign, but obviously it's about just being more inclusive and showing everyone. It's not just the people that are already involved in the union and know what it does. It's about getting everyone involved and saying, you know, we're here and this is what we do. And also putting on things like events. Our place is barely ever used for students to do events in and stuff. And just the promotion of all of that as well.
Well, the whole basis of my campaign is on inclusion. So really my stance on that would be they won't be treated any differently from any other society or any other sports team. Everybody's on the same level. Obviously, if there's a hate crime or something that comes up, then that would be taken as a separate issue. But in terms of funding and support given by the student union itself, everybody's on the same page if I'm elected.
Okay, well, I already think the LGBT and the BME community are already doing a great job within Hope. As a new students' union, what I would like to do is to create better bonds outside the university itself. A member of the LGBT society that 2 years ago, Andy Hearn, is now working for a group as part of Matthew Street. If we could get in connection with them and make it not just about the university, but making it wider with both the LGBT and the BME community, then it's not just Hope that's going to benefit, it's the wider society as well as ourselves that will benefit from it. Thank you.
Sorry, thank you. Starting with you now, Marty. What will you do to make sure sports teams get fair access to facilities?
So I'm not quite sure where the issues lie in sports teams not getting good access to facilities at the minute, but I know that the university has sunk a lot of money into doing more renovation projects at the back where the sports fields already are. We could look in getting with partnership with other people outside the university that can hold their own sports events. I know the football team from St Michael's goes and plays at a pitch not far from where the St Michael's campus is, so maybe not just keep it on Hope, but get it across all three campuses and make space available would be brilliant.
Well, I've spoke to a few of the sports societies, and this new sports hall that they're actually building is a great benefit to the university, but it's not a great benefit to the sports teams because they're actually going to take away the pitch in order to build a new phase of it. So if I'm elected, one of the first things I'll be doing for sports teams is campaigning that it's the university's problem that they have no space to build. They'll need to provide somewhere for the sports teams within this university to actually train without it costing them, and they'd also have to provide transport to that place if it's off-site.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the redevelopment of the sports centre, the union this year has already done a lot of lobbying because it wasn't the union that decided it, it was the university. So I think it's just a continuation of that. And as Johnny said, it'd be about the university providing transport and extra money for sports teams that do need to go away to train.
Well, what I think is that once the sports centre's been properly developed, it'd be to make sure that all the sports teams get proper access. We should create a very strict timetable routine for each team, which they can agree on themselves. For those who have to travel or go away, these similar things can be done with transport and access.
Okay, thank you. The next question, starting with you, Jonathan, is How will you politically engage students after the general election?
The main thing about that would be making people more aware of political stances. This could be done with directing people to news websites, posters around the university to make them more conscious of what's going on, and trying to direct their attention to current issues that's happening in government today.
I think the word politics scares people, especially students. So it'd be about looking at a way to find a way to incorporate it in a fun way and something that isn't going to bore people to death. And this will also include things like lobbying MPs and stuff, and making sure that student voices get heard, not only throughout Liverpool but throughout the country.
My aim actually wouldn't be to help with general elections and pushing general elections. My aim would be with local MPs to educate people who maybe haven't came across their local MPs and don't know what their local MP does for them, would be to tell them that's what they're supposed to do for you. This is your local MP while you're at this university, and this is what they should be doing for you, and if they're not, this is the contact details for them, this is how you go about it, and the SU will support you the whole way through it.
So one of my aims was talking about rejuvenating actual political views in this university itself and how we go about talking about politics. We have various forums and various stages where people come and talk about political views and how they put them to the forefront. My aim would personally be to demolish this and put a new way of talking about politics in place, be it from a debate which the university seems to fail in. At the moment, if we had a debating society that could bring political forums to there and get it out to the wider community of Hope, it would indeed just in a political stance. Also, we need to tackle issues outside just politicians and what issues they're going for. Issues in Hope itself is Hope politics. We have politics we see every day and that should be at the forefront. It's about us at the end of the day and that's what we want.
Thank you. The last question, starting with you, Marty. How are you going to tailor events to be accessible to students that live off campus and commute, not just those at Hope Park?
So I've spent my year this year as a resident tutor and I've tried to create various events for not just students in residential accommodation but also students outside residential accommodation. One of the things that we're going to push for at the minute is the Alton Towers trip. If we could get more things involved with students outside, so housing forums, what they actually want to do outside the university, it's not just us coming together within this university to make the university better. We can create outside groups to help combat education, how we're going to progress in our further education and what jobs we want.
One of my biggest disappointments with coming to university here in Liverpool Hope was the Student Union bar itself. I don't know any other student union that closes at 11 and I don't think that's right. So in order for events to take place, in order for the bar to have a good atmosphere and stuff like that, one of the first things to be put into place would be to get the hour changed, because the licensing hours to 2 o'clock, I think. And if they don't, well then, as president, it would be then within my reach to campaign to use outside sources for the SU. We've also looked into buses. Depending on funding, we may be able to provide free buses into the town and out of the town, with maybe a stop on Smithtown Road, maybe weekends on a Saturday night. It's hard getting taxis home. And if we do that, we're ensuring the safety of our students getting home, which is a big issue at the moment.
I think in terms of people that don't live on campus or don't live in the student-y sort of area, it's about doing things during the daytime and things that aren't just centred around alcohol and going out and that sort of stuff. So things like, you know, quizzes, game nights, just getting together to watch a film, or things like a debate, as well as doing things at night. We've got some great facilities here and they're just not used to the extent that they could be.
I don't think it's just an issue of publicity for the event. I think it's also a certain level of disinterest. Look, as we saw before, most of you left before we could start talking. I mean, I'm not complaining because I won't be able to talk at all otherwise. Yeah, it's fun to laugh at social awkwardness. I think it'd be a great idea to try and make events more tailored around what student wants to actually get involved in. Maybe like I don't know, like something like Take Me Out night, which they did last year, which was quite popular. So something like that, maybe.
Okay. Do we have one final question from the audience? No, question for all the candidates.
Okay, I was just, no, second, sorry.
You should not say use reword it. Yeah. And the general question?
You can reword it into a general question, but you can't aim questions directly at specific candidates.
Can I ask my question? Can I just say not one of you have mentioned the representation of mature students, I think, now. How are you going to make sure that mature students are constantly represented and included in everything? Sorry.
I have quite a lot of links with mature students at the moment. One of my current positions is a resident tutor, so I deal with students from a variation of ages. Also in my criminology group, we have students from aging 18 up to 35, 45, 65. At the end of the day, we just want to make sure what the course or what your aim is at this university is represented. I don't want to look at it as someone's an older age or a younger age. Any events we should put on should be open, honest, and inclusive to everyone across the basis. So if there's something specifically you want targeted towards an older age range, then we're more than happy to do that. But I think for all events, it should be open, honest, and inclusive, no matter what the age of anyone.
One of the points actually in my manifesto is childcare. Now, what way this would come into play, if there's a need for it on a weekly basis, we will campaign for that. But from what I've actually spoke to a few mature students, and what they're saying their difficulty is mid-term, because we don't have a mid-term and the schools do. There's no one to look after their children and stuff. And what way I was going to do that was maybe with the QTS or some of the placements. Placing them students somewhere within the building. There used to be a childcare facility maybe 4 or 5 years ago in this university, in a special room with people that are looking placements within that sort of role. And then you would obviously come to university and bring your child with you and drop your child off while you go to class with someone safe, and then that's cutting down the cost that you're paying for your childcare, and it's also meaning enabling you so that you can go to university and your child's happy.
Going back to what I said before, I think about doing stuff during the day and stuff that isn't centred around alcohol consumption, and also going out and listening to people, so creating steering groups of mature students to know what they want from it.
I think the main difference between mature students and normal students is that mature students usually have more going on in their lives. So normal students pretty much spend the day either in the library, well, not really, or in the SU drinking. Well, mature students might have kids or husbands, wives, partners to deal with. I think probably the best way to try and get them more involved is to tailor events around something that they might actually be interested to.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Can we have a round of applause for the candidates for president? Okay, next up, we're going to have the speeches for Vice President Welfare and Community. So if I could ask Jessie to come up. Why is it not working? A little more.
It's just, you're just muting it, so just press the mute button.
Yeah, it's not doing anything.
Hi, I'm Jessie. I'm currently a third year social policy and criminology student, and I'm running for Vice President Welfare and Community. Needless to say, I want to make sure that the welfare of each student is at the heart of each and every movement here at Hope. This includes the mental, sexual and physical well-being of each student. I want to work in partnership with local health services, in particular local clinics, as this is something that the university currently fails to do, by setting up a free monthly drop-in for every student. Student housing does not mean bad housing. Working with local student housing services to make sure that only reputable landlords are used, and to make sure any bad landlords are made to clean up their act. And I know this from experience that bad housing makes all of the difference to your own welfare and how that affects your university experience. Money shouldn't be a barrier for a student. For any student, we pay enough for our education without having to live in poverty as well. Struggling to afford food or having to forego any form of a social life should not be an accepted part of university living. My aim is to set up money workshops that provide enough information as to how you can get the most for your money, such as what places in town offer the best deals, like what supermarkets and things around that area. Hope offers a range of scholarships, and I want to make sure each student is aware of what they are entitled to. Again, this was from experience. I found out I was entitled to a scholarship 2 weeks ago, and I'm in my third year. So, but I want to make sure that but most of all, and I think this is the most important point, is that I want to ensure that Hope is accessible and inclusive for all students. I want to meet with the states to see how disabled access can be improved, in particular looking at the CAT suite to make sure it can accommodate more than one student at a time. Liberation officers are a vital role within the unit, and I want to make sure that each part-time officer sets up at least one campaign that represents the voice of that group. It's 2015 and there should be no barriers for any student here at Hope. So vote for me, for Welfare and Community, and the rest of my slate, SOS, for a united team and a united union. Thank you.
Okay, well done. Can we welcome Io? 3 minutes when you're ready.
Hello everyone, thanks for spending your evening with us when you could have done it doing so many other fun things. My name's Ayo, some call me Ayo. I'm not actually fussy about the pronunciation of my name, but I am fussy about my union. So here I am running for Vice President of Welfare and Community because I've got ideas about things that we can improve and also continue doing the good things that are in place already. One of the things I think about elections and candidates speaking about they want to change things, and me, myself included, my attitude to change is that you've got to get at the driving seat and get in and get involved and be willing to get your hands dirty. And ever since my first year in this union, I've been involved in the students' union, whether it's been just attending forums, being a student officer, being a liberation officer for the past 2 years, being a course rep as well. So my attitude to change, I think, is a bit different to others maybe. I also think that this role is vital in terms of championing student rights all across the university, in particular focusing on equality and diversity for all. But I don't agree with the point that being an equal society means treating everyone different, because as some of the candidates have touched on various points, the issues that affect, for example, mature students and younger students are completely different. The issues that affect disabled students and able-bodied students are completely different. The issues that affect ethnic minorities and what you'd call the indigenous population are completely different. So my attitude as well towards equality is a bit different, because I think you need to understand groups and what their needs are, because Diversity is also respecting difference, not expecting everyone to be the same and do the same things. One of the things I want to do as Vice President of Welfare is focus on volunteering opportunities within the community, because volunteering, I think, is overlooked as a great opportunity to get a paid job. Sometimes that process doesn't actually take that long between volunteering and getting a paid job. Myself, when I left school, I got involved in a sports organisation which helped kids with their homework and then took them out to play a game of football. So there was a good balance there, and I think models like that, they sound really simple, but I think they can be useful here as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Natasha here? Is Jack here? Okay. So I'm going to invite both candidates to come to the front and we'll do some questions. Hello? That's on, isn't it? Okay, so we'll start with Jessie and then we'll swap round. How will you battle lad culture on campus?
Lad culture is something that I think it's prominent throughout society, and I think as well as tackling lad culture, which includes monitoring like the use of, say, like making sure that the union doesn't sell any form of magazine that objectifies women. This idea of raunch culture is also so very important, and I think that needs to be alluded on because not many people know what it is. And it's this idea that women need to be taught as well as men not to do it, but this idea that women play into it as well, and that needs to be exposed and cut out of society as well. So.
If the term lad is used to refer to young male, then I think this might be an issue that I could probably do something about myself as well. I think lad culture can be a problem, especially if females are made victims of harassment and other forms of bullying and perverse behaviour sometimes actually as well. And as Jess has mentioned, some of the popular magazines that we've got around in our communities don't help things in terms of perception of women and valuing them as human beings first. About lad culture, what would I do if I was Vice President of Welfare? As I said, as a young male who is grown up around the different attitudes that we do have that aren't helpful towards the way women are seen, I think I'd be able to be hands-on with those issues. And as someone who's been a liberation officer as well, I'm aware of the issues that women are going through as well. Thank you.
Okay. The next question is, DSA is projected to be cut in 2016. What will you do to ensure disabled students get as much support as they require? DSA's Disabled Students Allowance.
I think extra funding for disabled students is absolutely vital. The same way it is for other groups who are facing particular hardship. As I said, equality and diversity isn't about treating everyone the same. It's about recognising certain groups do have specific needs. And I will petition the university to make sure that there is funding available. If it's not provided by the government, this university, as we know, has got enough money to make sure that students in this university don't have to be going through unnecessary hardship. So I will make sure that that funding is available. There's obviously a limit I can do about government policies, but in terms of how we treat our students at this university, as VP of Welfare, I think that's your direct remit, and I would make that one of my main focuses and make sure that no students have to go through any hardship. That's all students, but especially disabled students as well.
Again, I think it's about recognising that each group has that specific set of needs that need to be catered for, and the cutting of and allow the DSA is an absolute joke that shouldn't even have been contemplated. But again, it's making sure that each student, that the unit recognises the needs of the student and make sure that that funding is catered for. If the government aren't going to do it, then the unit should do it. Again, it's 2015 and things like this shouldn't be a barrier. Like there shouldn't be anything to stop anyone getting any form of education at all.
Okay, do we have any final questions from the audience? We'll take two.
So when you were talking about the lad culture, you both mentioned just objectifying women. Would you not consider doing something like the He for She campaign, where both males and females feel equal in uni?
Most definitely. I think the He for She campaign is something that is absolutely vital and important, and I think it's an absolutely brilliant movement that should be promoted around the university, and it shouldn't just be, we shouldn't just focus, it's gender equality that should be focused on, not just women are objectified, stop it. It should be that there should be equality between the human first and then you're assigned a gender, and it should not be that way. It shouldn't be that, oh, because you're perceived as a man, you can't do this, like, you can't be perceived as being weak or prior or anything. And I think, like, the He for She, like, and it shouldn't be an issue, and I would do, like I say, a liberation campaign to make sure that He for She is well known, and anything similar. Is the This Girl Can campaign, there's another one that I can't remember off the top of my head at the minute, but there is another one that's going around that is also, but I will get that out and remember that we are vital.
Can I respond to that as well? Also, again, I am conscious of my gender, and I'm not in the position to tell women this is the way we're going to do things. I'll make sure that anything we do on lab culture or discrimination or sexual harassment because of people's gender will involve women, and make sure that you guys are consulted throughout that process. I think the conversations we're having now need to be maintained, whoever is elected throughout the term, not just asking what we will see now and doing something else later. So yeah, I am conscious of my gender, and I will make sure that women are involved in the process. I've got our presidential candidate is a female as well, Kiri Cox, and I think we have a diverse enough team to address these different issues. But yeah, I think it's about asking women what do they think is the best way forward. So
what I mean is, it's not just women that are like sexually harassed, and it can also be like lads getting the exact same abuse.
Okay, we're going to move to the next question, but if you want to speak to the candidates afterwards, then I'm sure they'd be more than happy to do that.
Yeah, what are your policies on inclusion to other university services, particularly with SDW and the resident tutors? If a student confide a difficult issue to you, would you be willing to share that with the proper services to help make sure that student was properly cared for?
I think you're referring to pastoral care there and what support we have for residential students. I think as a current residence tutor at Egworth Park, I think we've got a good system there, but there's a lot of improvements that need to be made, and I think that care needs to be extended to non-residential students as well. And the university needs to maybe not see students as how much are they contributing financially to the university's profits in terms of by paying rent. They should also look at people that are in private housing, and sometimes the issues that they're facing are at least just as serious as residential students. So I think residential life and student support and well-being does need revitalising. There is a lot of changes going on at the moment that Penny Horn announced recently. So obviously, I think the university itself have realised that things need to change. But yeah, I would be proactive on that, having worked in that department and knowing the challenges and the work that's ahead, really. Thanks.
Yeah, as far as like any issues, if someone came to, obviously as a welfare and community officer, it's a case of being approachable. If a student has an issue that you can help with, then of course it should be a case of, and if that problem needs reporting, then it will go to the appropriate channels. But as far as like off residential, off campus, and making sure, and housing and things, like with housing, as I said before, I've lived in a bad house with a bad landlord who didn't do anything that helped, and that so yeah, it's like that caused money issues because we had to fork out for those things. Like We had to fork out for an exterminator at one point because of mice in the field, and it shouldn't be an issue anymore. And so, yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Can we give a round of applause to our VP Welfare and Community candidates? And I'm going to invite our VP Education candidates up, starting with Amy. So can we give her a round of applause?
Hi guys, thanks for sticking around. I'm Amy and I'm a third year Social Policy and Criminology student, and I'm running for VP Education. I'm running as I'm truly passionate about making a change to everyone's education here at Hope, to make it more inclusive, accessible and a reflection of what you, the students, want. I want to speak to the students, not for the students. From speaking to students, from being a course rep and in general, some of the issues I'll mention in a second are problems that need to be sorted, and with your help and votes I want to work upon them. Issues around assignment clustering, timetable issues, lessons overrun into seminar times are all problems that should not be happening. If elected, I'll work with faculties to ensure a less stressful and more productive education system. On top of this, I'll also ensure each individual support plan is implemented through the whole year, not just for the first few weeks, so everyone is treated fairly, all needs are met, and everyone can reach their academic potential. I also want to work with course reps as they're a vital communication. Their voice represents you, and I want to ensure they're fully trained, listened to and valued. Inclusion is also a massive aim of mine, for everyone, whoever they are and wherever they're from, should feel valued and a part of the Hope community. With that, one of my ideas is to introduce a buddy-type system for international students or volunteers from their courses. We'll be paired with them to create better relationships and stronger friendships. And for mature students, I want to create focus groups to find out what you want. Another thing, being a student is hard work. Money and employment issues and stress is the worst sort of problem. To overcome this, I'll make sure students are made aware of what scholarship funds and bursaries are available, and I'll work to ensure these are protected. I'll also work towards more course-specific employment fairs, more groups to work and transferable skills, and also more voluntary places, so hope students have the best employment opportunities. These are just a few of my aims, as 3 minutes isn't actually as long as I thought it would be. So if you do want to see what else I've got, please have a look on the SO election, the aims and the manifestos. So finally, please vote for me for VP Education. I promise that every decision I'll make will reflect the needs and wants of you. And please vote for the rest of my team, SOS, for a united team, for a united union. Thank you.
Thank you. Now please welcome Pranay.
Hi everyone. I'm optimistic for this university as everyone in this room cares about the uni, how it works and how it should be. Over the past few years in this university, I had the opportunity to talk with many students. Listening to them, it was just incredible. Their ideas, thoughts and their stories are so inspiring. I met an LGBT student who is still discriminated at his work for his sexual orientation, and an international student who is not employed and their employment opportunity is taken off being an international student itself. I met who is a mother of two, who is doing a part-time jobs to taking care of their family, but still what they do is really inspiring. For the past years, SU has been working for students but now these works have to be specific and result-oriented. The students should feel a sense of belongingness from a bottom to top approach, serving their needs, and I will change this if I will be elected as your VP Education. Our best resources would be all of you students. 96% of you said in national survey that you want to join a uni because you want to be more employable. 89% of you believe that you will get more skills coming to uni. Over the next year, you will completely need to change the way we're getting yourself employable. We need to empower you, making each of you best and unique in the market, which the SU has failed to do so far. If elected as a Vice President of Education, I will make sure that you'll have a competitive edge to get a decent job. Education for employability, from lobbying the university for facilities such as computer software, libraries, timetables, and training each and every one of you for your soft skills and making you more employable. Making sure that the employability groups and peer mentorship placement perfectly as you require, and getting funds for special exchange tours will widen your world of knowledge and experience. as experience is key to success. Being your SU journalist, elected executive council member, and your course rep across the key issues: increase fees, cuts, less scholarship opportunities, less graduate schemes. If elected, I would make sure that each of you get grants, scholarships, and those opportunities for professional skills for UK higher education, NUS, and other student-oriented NGOs. I will make sure that you get funds from the program and can be different various parts of gathering valuable experiences. I have organized many events, trainings in uni working with student development and well-being. I travel a lot of parts doing leadership, team building, and communication skills as a qualified and certified trainer from Rotary. Free international language classes, corporate trainings, Toastmasters, a training Tuesdays. You will get it all. I am the student and personal race from VP Education who has proved himself worthy for the post of my passion and serve experience and knowledge. Vote Pranay Shakya #1 for VP Education, and my slate: yes, you can, and the SU will can do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Now can we please welcome Christine?
Hi everybody, I'm Christine. I'm a mature student, as you can tell. I'm studying English language and literature, and this is my first year, so this is all brand new to me. So don't let this stand in anybody's way, you can do this. I decided to stand for VP Education because I believe it is a role of vital importance to help each and every student through their university experience, and for me it's a dream I never thought possible. The SU plays a great part in bringing student issues to the forefront and is there to help students in a positive way to enjoy their time fully at university. The Student Union is the political voice of the student body and plays an important role in making changes in every student's educational journey, as well as any welfare issues. I have discovered a passion to become involved in this process, and with your help and votes, I would like this opportunity to bring my dreams to fruition. I will also do my best to continue the fabulous work of the outgoing Vice President, Megan Jezard. I will be campaigning to bring back reading weeks. After talking to fellow students, I feel reading weeks have been missed. The lack of time to read some of the literature that students need each semester can be limiting, and I feel that reinstating this time will have a positive effect on both the student and the teaching staff. Therefore, my aim is to open a dialogue with the head of departments and the dean to reach an agreement on the successful reintroduction of this valuable and productive time for all concerned. And just as a PS on this one, I discovered this week that it's not just English, sociology, psychology, and all these other amazing things that have reading. Maths have reading, and in some universities, maths have reading weeks. Where are ours? I will also be campaigning to assist the students training to be teachers in their university process. In my role as student rep, I have discovered that these students not only have to deal with the usual classes and placements, but they must also have extra catch-up sessions for those missed whilst away from the university, and the equipment doesn't always work, so they miss the lectures, which isn't fair. It is my aim to make this transition easier and less stressful for the students. I look forward to being able to build on an already workable system and make it the best it can be. I will also be campaigning to give students a stronger voice, especially in roles of student reps. A university education is a two-way street between the students and the teaching staff. It is my aim to strengthen this bond, and one of the ways will be through the student reps. As the middleman between student and teaching staff, I believe it is a vital position and one that needs full training and regular get-togethers to share ideas and provide valuable support to each other. In this way, the student's voice will have a greater combined impact, solving problems quickly and efficiently, and also give praise where it's due. I feel all these goals are achievable. So therefore I would ask, vote Christine, #1 for Vice President for Education.
Okay, I'm going to invite all the candidates for VP Education to come to the front. If you can sit, Amy, Pranay, Christine, that would be great. Thank you. Okay, the first question is, will the timetables be altered on Wednesdays so that those in sports teams can play matches every week, as third years this year are still until 1 p.m. on Wednesdays?
That wasn't an issue I was actually made aware of. What I'll do is, through campaign week, I'll speak to students over the week, see how many students this does affect, And if it is affecting the majority of students, I will then lobby this to the university to see if we can get that changed.
I really think like seeing all the students who said we are British champions, we are this champion, we are that champion. I think we really need that time to give to students so that they could practice enough and then give back to the university and get hope somewhere in the list, maybe number one as always. So I think I'll definitely lobby the university to make that sports is one thing that we're making on charts, because till last year hope was not on any charts, because I think sports is making a big impact, and I'm thankful to all the sports person here as well.
I was aware that we stop lessons half day on a Wednesday, and that was for the clubs and social events that go on. I would have presumed that that would have included the sports department. If it doesn't, then obviously that's something that will have to be looked into and hopefully changed for the better.
Thank you. Are there any final questions from the audience? Okay, I think we're wrapped up. Can candidates ask questions?
No.
Any final questions? Last chance? No? Okay. Thank you very much. Well done to everyone who gave speeches. I know how hard it is. And yeah, you're free to go. Good luck to everyone next week.